going on, everybody? Welcome back. Episode 38. We're behind. We should be on episode 100. 100. That's what we should be on. But we're not. Yet here we are. Here we are. I just thought about not doing what I wanted to do tonight and talk about engineering degrees as a scam. Engineering degrees as a scam. That's what I thought about doing. This it's one of them catchy headlines. What's going on, Komai? What's going on, Don? You know what I mean? Well, engineering degrees is a scam. If you let people tell you that, mm, that's interesting. All right, let's look at it. Just humor me here. So it says, I just looked up, and I did this before, which engineering uh pays the highest, right? So it says petroleum has a median annual salary of 137,000. And it says computer hardware engineers 117, aerospace 116, big data engineers 140 to 180, environmental 55 to 140, and electrical it's 96. That's what it's giving back, right? That's what it says. They got computer science, and this is Indian. I don't know why the Indian stuff keeps showing up for me. Mechanical, computer science, electrical, and computer engineering. Like I say, I go with computer engineering. Let's see what ZipRecruiter says about computer engineering. All right. So I just want in general in the United States. I don't want Florida. All right. So in general, we're looking at an average could be 1% of the job, 0%. It's got 25th percentile. So and then 137 on the night on the 90%. So about $10,000 a month, which is probably about right. You'll see, but the computer engineers get so uh, um the computer engineers get so many different looks when it comes to jobs. Let's click on jobs. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to computer engineer. So public notice for direct hire of a computer engineer with cybersecurity, computer vision. Let me look. That's a general. 122 to 192 with the IRS. You can fall on a programmer. You can do computer vision. Early career software engineer, power sources technology, New Mexico on site 95 to 186 annually. As I said, computer engineer kind of morphs in so many arenas, because you have a programming background and you have a hardware background and you have an operating system background coming out of computer engineering. So you could go anywhere. You can do anything, right? It's just I I don't know. I always like senior machine learning engineer. You can start doing ML under that 210 to 260. Oh no. This is just what I've seen with computer engineering. It's morphed into so many different genres, touches so many different things. Is That's just my thoughts. When it comes down to like how does engineering or computer engineering look for in terms of like when we talk about with Linux, then you could start talking about a multitude of things there, from the operating system to the kernel to writing the kernel to writing in C, in Go, in Rust, probably more in Rust than Go. Um, work writing compilers, drivers. What do you think NVIDIA sells? Like, do y'all like the GPUs is one thing, right? But they don't really just make their money from the GPUs. They make their money from the software that run the GPUs. I can give you a A2 GPU and sell you a license that activates only a certain sector of or certain package of that GPU, right? Or I could get or I could, when I sell you this, I give you access to do other things, right? The GPU is one thing, the license is another thing. The license behind it. So here, look, NVIDIA Virtual GPU Software Packaging, Pricing, and License Guide. Just quick search, right? Just a quick search. So they have virtual software products for VApps, VPC, RTX, and VWS software products and entitlement, and then software licensing, enterprise GPU software pricing, the subscription, concurrent, perpetual, NVIDIA education program license. Just it's when you start looking at what they're actually selling, and this is across all. This NVIDIA isn't the only one that does this. They all do it, right? They all do it, right? They tell you here, NVIDIA recommended vGPU software. It's the software, right? It's the software. It's one thing is the GPU. The other one is the software that goes along with that GPU. And who do you think builds that software? Who do you think is working and building that software? Who do you think is working and building the access, again, to it? Multi GPU, NVIDIA VWS, right? vGPU sizes supported, right? Enterprise software pricing, subscription. Here they start talking about concurrent user license annual subscription prices. This is where the money is at. That licensing for that GPU is where the money is at. So again, like I said, I started to say, hey, computer, engineering degrees are a scam. It would have been a great catch title. Would have been a great a great clickbait title. They were like, what? No, she's lying. What? No, she's not telling the truth. All right, let's go. It's a Foolish Finance Friday, Triple F Friday. I said I wanted to have a little fun tonight, so let's have a little fun. All right, Navient will pay $100 million to student loan borrowers in a landmark settlement. Here's how you can get your cut. I won't read this article. I just want to mention it. D sent it to me, and it was on Market Watch, so I grabbed the headline for it. I was trying to think, did I have Navient? I need to double check my stuff. I was like, did I have them? I did. Oh, need to check my stuff. I'm like, did I have y'all? Let me. Y'all out here floating in my emails, and I had y'all. Let me look. Let me do a quick search. Nah, my quick search on my emails came up with absolutely nothing. Nada. No soup for you. All right, nada. So check it out if that's something you had. Let's say it said alleged that Navia's business model encouraged this. Let me see, back up here. CFPB alleged that Navient steered struggling borrowers away from income-driven repayment, a federal program that allows borrowers to repay their debt as a percentage of their income and have the remainder canceled after a set number of years of payments. Instead, CFPB alleged that Navient pushed borrowers toward the forbearance. Forbearance pauses the student loan payments, but the interest still occurs. In addition, the borrowers in the forbearance don't build credit towards student loan forgiveness. And they said that was part of their business model. And walking a borrower through signing up for income-driven repayment typically takes much longer than enrolling them in a forbearance. Meanwhile, meaning that the customer service rep were incentivized to steer borrowers towards forbearance. To keep costs low, Navient encouraged its employees to push borrowers into forbearance, a much quicker, cheaper option for the company. This approach allowed Navient to process more calls in less time and get people off the phone. Marketing. Gotcha. Gotcha. All right, let's go. We're on to the petty tea side. All right, let's go. Petty tea time. My husband blew a gasket. I bought a $20,000 Toyota SUV using financing. My spouse said pay it off immediately. Did I get a bad deal? So she recognizes that her husband car is out. She's like, I'm gonna go down to the dealership and make sure my baby is okay. And I'm gonna get this $20,000 truck for my boo and make sure that he gets to where he needs to be because I'm a loving, submissive wife. I'm loving, loyal, submissive wife. I'm even make sure it's clean before I bring it home. She said I couldn't get a cashier check at the dealer yesterday as I had my 4 kids with me. So, dear Quentin, yesterday the mechanic called and said the car my husband drives, which was my late grandmother's car, was not repairable anymore. We have saved cash and fixed it. They said to buy another car. I had I had the cash to pay for a 2017 Toyota SUV and put 1,200 down, and the total came up to 20,000, and and it's $335 a month all in. My husband blew a gasket when I told him about the financing. He said, pay it off immediately when I get the bill. Is it okay to finance and then pay off the note right away? I did this with a fridge recently, but never a car. My grandma did it with a new car she bought and said that's the way to go. I couldn't get a cashier's check at the dealer yesterday as I had my 4 kids with me. Also, the dealer got me a warranty, which he said is included, but I suspect he rolled this into my loan. While will I get to keep the warranty from the dealer if I pay it off? Would leaving the debt and paying it monthly improve my credit? My grandma recommended financing a car for a month or two, then paying it off as soon as possible to avoid debt. My sister in law recently financed a 2-year-old SUV and she's paying almost $700 a month. She can barely afford it. I don't want to get in that position that she's in. What do you think? So she got a car. Her grandmother said, hey, go ahead and finance it for 1 or 2 months and then just pay it off. Now, how many of you are in a place where you could go get a car, finance it for 1 or 2 months, and go pay it off in the third month, and it's $20,000? Are you in that situation where you can go and say, you know what? I don't want to use all my money right now. We're gonna put a little something on it. She put $1,200 down. She got a warranty, and it's 20 grand cold cash. How many of you can do that? All right, let's go. Let's see what he say. Not sure if you were going for some auto related wordplay with your husband blowing a gasket, but well played regardless. He's correct in two ways in how you approach the purchase. You probably should discuss this as a family before committing to a monthly payment, as it impacts you both, and always read the fine print before signing. But based on these estimates from Teddy Auto's comments, you got a pretty decent deal. Oftentimes, you can't get a better deal if you buy a car on financing and then pay off the note after after a month or two. But you need to check your contract to see if there is a prepayment penalty. Such penalties run around 2% of the loan balance, but it all depends on what you agreed to when you signed the loan agreement. I haven't seen that lately where people penalize you for paying that. Yeah, within 20 minutes, cash. 20 minutes. Not every state allows prepayment penalties for borrowers in these situations. In 36 states and in DC, for example, lenders can charge prepayment penalties on loans with a term of 60 or fewer months. Federal law prevents the lenders from charging prepayment penalties on loans with longer terms, it adds. The interest rate you pay, in theory, may depend on the credit score. The average car loan interest rate for new cars in the second quarter was around in 2024, around 6.8, while used cars average rate of 12%. So I had picked up a Bentley. I was like, let's see what it do. It was a 2016. It had about, I think it had about 20,000 miles on it. Might have had 12,000. I think it had 20,000. Kept in a garage. It was white or cream, if you want to call it. It was cream. It was convertible. I was like, let me get that. So they ran my credit, everything checked out. They was like, it's a 2016. The best we can do is 10%. I'm like, you crazy. Y'all keep that. To take it even one step further, because it was a Bentley and it wasn't at the Bentley dealership, they couldn't get a warranty on it. And I was like, I'm not driving off the lot with a Bentley with no warranty. No, I'll pass. So somebody else came along and they tried to buy it and they didn't have a warranty either. And I don't think they ended up selling it. I think they ended up having send that to the auction or put it on some other, they got another listing. You know, dealerships we have other listings that they can toss cars on too, right? So long story short, buying a car. Okay. So when you are out of that warranty era, right, where you can purchase an additional warranty on a car, you may run into problems because then, especially on the higher end cars, because it could be anything. It could be coming up on a 7 year. It could be coming up on a special, a special, not a tune. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a 7 year mark, and they got to do like a 7 year service or something like that. So, you got to be careful with some of the cars because they be trying to get you. You got to be careful. So, Journey to Jasmine. All right. So, if you had excellent credit, a FICO score between 781 to 850, expect to pay 7.3% interest rate on average for a used car, but that could rise to 21.5% if you are between 300 to 500. So financing makes it less sense if you have lower credit score. Where you buy also matters. Mississippi has the highest rates while Maine has the lowest. By paying off the car loan, your credit score will drop temporarily. So if you're planning to buy a home in the next month or two, it's not a good time. Otherwise, you could be looking at higher interest rate, and a 30-year interest rate is already hovering at 6.9. If you don't have an emergency fund of 6 to 12 months, it's another reason to repay it. Here are some reasons when it makes sense to pay off a car loan per bank rate. Some obvious, perhaps some less so. The auto loan has a higher interest rate than what you could earn by investing. You recently received a windfall and have enough cash in reserve for emergencies. You want to avoid having a negative equity or being upside down on your auto loan. Warranties can be limited, slightly more complicated. They often come with the vehicle and are connected to the car vehicle identification number rather than you, the owner. So if the automobile changes hands, the warranty remains. An extended warranty or on the other hand, covers most of the mechanical failure and gives you more peace of mind for repairs. Car dealership tricks. All right, there are many decent, honest car dealers, but when the prices are negotiable, salespeople are out to cut their margins and get the best deal possible. Now, when I was in Colorado, like I said before, I went to the Mercedes-Benz car dealership, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get rid of my G-Wagon and I'm gonna go into something else. So then I was like, what else do I want to go into? I was like, I don't know. Like, what else do I really, really want? And what I noticed in Colorado that I didn't like is Colorado is where I was at was super, super, super conservative. When I say super conservative, like every car was gray, every car was black, it didn't have no rims, they ain't had no features. I was like, what? I was like, I go to the car dealership here and I'm like, ooh, look what they got over there. They got a Ferrari. Ooh, check that out. They got this. Ooh, they got that. You can at least walk up to it. When I went to the dealership there, I'm like, the music boring, the people boring, the cars boring. I was like, y'all ain't got no pizzazz, nothing. They said, oh, you have to go on the other side. You got to go to Denver. I was like, I went over to Denver. It was boring too. I'm like, y'all boring. Y'all ain't got no, you ain't got nothing sitting on them things. You ain't got no car sitting on them things. Y'all ain't got nothing. You ain't got no possession. You ain't got nothing. You ain't even got no sound in it. Like, why your cars ain't got it? Why you ain't got nothing in it? This is boring. You don't even make the car dealership experience fun. You ain't got no wine. Y'all ain't got no specialty drinks or nothing. You ain't gonna go get me nothing to eat. What is this? Oh, I'm so not used to this. I'm not her. I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about when I say we can we can do a comparison. A live comparison. Oh, boring. That's just boring. Hold on, let me pull it up. Okay, let's go. Pre-owned vehicles. All right, this is what I'm used to. Okay, this is what I'm used to. Call me bougie. Well, you call me whatever. I'm used to walking on the lot. Okay, on the lot right now, they got a Rolls Royce on the lot right now. Right on the lot right now, it's a Rolls Royce. So if I want to go out and take this Rolls Royce out, see how I like it. I don't know. Do I like it? I don't know. I never been in one. I want to test drive it. Let me take it around the corner. Let me see what it do. What it look like on the inside. What button does it? What does button do? Couldn't do that. Here's the G wagon. I left the dealership. They told me to take this one home. I called D. I was like, D, I'm bringing it home. It took him too long to get gas. I waited and waited. I may go back up there and get it. See how I like it. I don't know. I sat in it. It's a little more spacious. It's a Barber's. You know what I mean? You know, that kind of stuff. You're just going up to the dealership. They got some nice little toys up there. At least give me some. Give me a look. Give me a look. Give me something to look at. Oh, okay. I see what you're doing with that. Okay. All right. I see. Okay. You know. Okay. Cool. Oh, what we got here? A 2019. Let's see what it's decked out like on the inside. We can get this and do a party bus. All right, yeah, let's do a party bus. We can rent this out. Little shower together. It expands, little road trip. You know, okay. You got some options. We got a GTR up there, right? 2018. Not, about 10,000 miles, mileage low. I like anything below 10. I prefer below 5. Don't care how old the car is. But you see the difference. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's pull it up now. I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do Broomfield, Mercedes, Westminster. Let's pull on over. Let's get over there. Hold on. Okay. Broomfield, pre-owned, all pre-owned. Let's go all pre-owned. Let's go by highest price to lowest price. Look at this. It don't even excite you already. Look at this. You ain't even excited. You ain't even at the highest price, 174. That's a pre-owned AMG G63. Then they got this pre-owned 2018 AMG G63. Then they got this Cadillac Escalade premium luxury, look like a Hearst, an extended Hearst, and then this 2024 GLE 450. You ain't even running over there to the dealership to see what you want to test drive. I ain't used to that. Let's go over here. Let's go Crown Jaguar. Let's go pre-owned. Let's go all inventory. Let's go price high to low. Okay. All right. We got a Taycan up there. We got that. We got that. They both owned by the same group, Crown. So you'll probably see some pool over there. At a GT4, I mean a GT3 2004. We had a Boxster. We got a 2017 Coupe. Yeah, got a Lexus convertible. Got a little something to play with. It don't make me get up like, let me go by the dealership, see what they got. Ain't gonna make me stop. Not right now. They was making me stop back in April when they was getting the GT3s, the Bentleys. And I was like, let me swing by. Let me see what it do. They would text me, we got it. When we got one for you, swing by. Want us to bring it to the job? Bring it to the job. You know what I'm saying? All right, back to what they were saying. See, okay, the average car listed for 25,000 in July, $164 or higher on June's average. The good news is price remains the same. Price remained more than 1,600 lower on average in 2024. Dealers are paying higher prices at auction for used cars and must pass the cost on to the buyers. Used cars below 15,000 continue to show low availability with only 31-day supply. Ford, Chevrolet, Toyota, Honda, Nissan were top selling autos. Dee was supposed to go get her auction license so we can go get these cars at the auction. I don't know. Y'all got to get on Dee. Dee ain't on it. You know what I mean? Dee ain't on it. The dealer could tell you that you don't qualify for certain financing options when the opposite is true. It may be due to the oversight rather than the malice. And offer you an attractive monthly repayment over a longer period of time where you end up paying more for more and more. Now let me tell you what happened to me. They was like, ma'am, they was like, people don't want to finance you because they know you're gonna be out of this car in 2.5 years. They like, so they like it when you are attractive and want to do longer terms. So say I want a term for 3 years or something like that. They be like, ma'am, we won't finance you at 3, but we'll finance you at 5 or 6. Because the longer you own the books, the more you pay. Right? So when they tell, this is the thing they say. They do it all the time. I hear it all the time. You can always go longer and pay it off early. The problem is most people get complacent and don't pay it off early. They just go to the whole 4, 5, 6 years. Now, I've been at the dealership talking to folks, and they have been paying. Some people come in there and do 10 years on a car loan. 10 years on it, especially when the cars are like 280, 250, 300,000, 400. They go out 10 years. They go out 10 years. They'll finance you for 10 years. They'll take your money for 10 years. But what most people do is that they'll go and get one of those expensive cars that'll be brand new off the lot, and they'll hold them for 2 years or so, keep the mileage low, and then sell them with some money. But it's got to be a specialty car. It got to be a specialty car. You can't go to you can't go to Porsche and say you're gonna get you a Porsche Boxster and you're gonna finance it for 10 years and then try to sell it. That you ain't gonna make no money on that. You ain't gonna make no money on that. Now, you may make money on like the 50th anniversary of Porsche or the 50th anniversary of a car or a specialty car that you may hold that may be like a car that people are actually looking for that they want, specialty cars, but not something that's mass produced like that. Like one of 50 or one of 100 or something like that. Right? So be careful when you're out here doing this. Let's see, he didn't really give no more insight on her. But he just said, a side note, you obviously led a very busy life with 4 young children and you are juggling a lot of responsibilities, school runs, doctor's appointments, groceries, work hobbies, the list goes on. But if you're making a big ticket purchase, do so on the day that you have no distractions. Car dealers, like any salesman, will see you coming from a mile away. You got more than you bargained for with my answer. Better hear that on the car, better here than on the car lot. So he was just talking about how the razzle dazzle and so forth and so on. Yeah. Basically they're offering a 0% to finance a car. Most finances are for short terms, and you need a stellar credit score. Bankrate says, and with the short term loans such as 24 to 36 months, payments are on even a moderately priced car can be hefty. Yep, some of them go 10 years. All right. Let's see. I have zero regrets. I am 84 and estranged from my 2 adult sons. My 48-year-old wife would get my 7-figure estate. Is that selfish? He 84, she 48. The sons ain't around. He don't know him like that. Back up. We don't know you like that. He said he leaving it all to his estranged wife. I mean, not his estranged wife, but to his wife, who's 48. 7-figure salary. City girls up. City girls up. In the city. City girls up. All right, look. She better hit that Tupac song. I'll run them up. All right, let's go. Why they gotta have his face like that? Face so messy. All right, let's go. I'm 40. I am 84 year old long-time reader of educational advice columns. Let me get right to the point. I always disagree with your kind-hearted responses. It seems like side with children against parents who are only wanting to ensure bloodline inheritance. I have 2 grown sons, one of whom has 2 adult children with an offspring of their own who I've never met. My oldest child is 60 years old and childless on their second marriage and has many stepchildren and step grandchildren who I've never met, and nor do I want to. My will and trust will exclude everyone that carries my family name. I can't stand them. I don't want to see them. Keep your broken families away from me. I had a favorite younger son who is now 59. I have it on good authority that his spouse married him so she could give him children, divorce him, get child support and alimony, and inherit everything I own. He said, neither me nor my former wife were invited to our son's wedding, birthday celebrations, or family functions. All right. It says there are 0 reasons other than greed, as we just comfortably blessed with enough money through hard work, why they would exclude us. We have not had any contact whatsoever in recent years with my sons, and I have 0 regrets. I only wish for their happiness. I have a 7-figure estate, which is going to my 48-year-old second wife, who has taken exceptional care of me for the past 2 decades. 20 years, so he met her when she was 28. She met him when he was 28. He was 64. 28 and 64. What's up, Queen Lee? How you been? Marcus. Yeah. Thank you for letting me vent. Some background about me. I'm immigrated to the US in the 1950s as a 10-year-old with my mother and stepfather, who was the greatest. We had no English, and all we had was $5 in cash. I have no other siblings. He's the only child. I doubt this will ever be published, so other parents like me who have no intention on leaving their children a dime have no regrets about it. Can see that they are not alone. Do you think it's selfish or wrong of me to take the stance? What do you all think? Is it selfish? Is he wrong? He's like, I ain't leaving them nothing. I ain't interested in leaving them nothing. They don't get a dime. F them great grandkids that really ain't yours. They ain't even your lifeline. Would you leave your kids anything? Because we are, in fact, on the same page, I err on the side of letting go of animosity in whatever form. A problem with an ill wind is that if you hold resentment for someone, be it friend or family member, the ill wind often comes blowing back in your direction. Fortunately, you wish your children a happy life, even if you can't be a part of it. And from what you say, you seem to be in peace with the status quo and are content with the current partner. If a parent is conflicted about what to do, I don't believe it's my job to make the decision for them. You don't say why you fell out with your sons. To become estranged from one child is unfortunate, but to become estranged from two is tragic. You have processed the experience and moved on, but by your account, you have a supportive and loving wife. You're not alone in estrangement from kids. The research published by the European Journal of Aging looked at 55 cases involving heirs, donors, and professionals attempting to understand people's motivations and mistakes when carving up the estate among their heirs. Researchers identified four reasons for leaving people an inheritance: altruism driven by family solidarity, equity to maintain the family unity, egoism, and reciprocity. You don't have to subscribe to any of those. Um, as you say, your work is done here. Altruistic motivation rests on the family values shared by the heirs and donors, which aim to maintain the family identity. Therefore, the inheritance of moral principles, its value in the absence of material inheritance. This is where I go with the idea that people always say men want legacy. He don't care nothing about that. He got two children. He's like, that's it. The name continues, but you won't get no money from me. Right? Oddly, more children appear to clash horns with their father rather than their mother. A 2023 published in a 2023 study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family found that 6% respondents reported an estrangement from their mothers, while 26% reported an estrangement from their fathers. It broke down the results by gender, ethnicity, and sexuality. Daughters were less likely to be estranged from their mothers. Black adult children were less likely than white peers to be estranged from their mothers, but more than likely to be estranged from their fathers. I don't make it up. I'm just reading what the article says. Gay and lesbian and bisexual children were more likely than heterosexuals to be estranged from their fathers. Indeed, earlier this week, I received a letter from a gay male couple living in Tucson, Arizona, who were not in touch with either of their families, and they had no one but each other. The reasons for estrangement are vast and varied. They include divorce, physical distance, the belief that the child was not cared for when they were younger, and physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. More people reconcile with their mother, 81%, than their father at 69%. Estrangement is never easy or simple. The American Psychological Association said in April the difference between societal ideas around what family should be and the reality of messy family behavior can often trigger shame and hesitancy to speak about estrangement. And pushing people back together is not always the best option. Every family is different. Even meaning clinicians, sorry, may inadvertently contribute to the pain of the estranged patient by encouraging them to reconcile when it could may actually be just safe to do so, not to do so. Finally, you have quite the journey. Your own parents and with your own parents and with your children. I'm happy to publish your letter. I don't think you're being selfish. I'm not here to judge you. You worked hard for your money and you should have every right to do so with every right to do with it what you please. Freedom to make choices. This is what he said. Freedom to make choices. He didn't give him no judgment there. All right. He forced me to take Social Security at 62. My husband inherited millions, but he never gave me a penny. If I divorce him, will I get any of it? She said he forced her to take Social Security at 62, which means she gets paid less because the max you get paid out for Social Security is at 70. And he inherited millions, but never gave her a penny. All right, let's go. Should he give her something? Should he give his wife some money if he inherited millions? It's his wife, right? Should she get a little bit? Maybe? No? All right, let's go. I'm thinking about divorce. My husband inherited a few $1,000,000 from his father. Then he passed away. Am I entitled to any of that should I choose divorce? I live in Texas. He doesn't share his information on his bank accounts, so I have no idea what I would be entitled to. So she don't know nothing on his bank accounts. They are married. She said he forced me to take Social Security at 62. I'm now 65 and have been collecting Social Security since I was 62 and a half. I claimed my benefits early because my husband would never give me money to put in my account. They 50-50, I guess. They partners. Also, we have 5 rental properties. 2 of them were inherited, but the rent goes into a joint bank account. Would I still get half of the rental money every month if I filed for divorce? It's time for a new beginning. She said, I'm tired of not being able to share nothing with you. It sounds like she paying rent too. And she probably got limited income. And he got millions. Okay, let's flip it. If she had millions and she forced him to take early Social Security retirement, should she be paying for mortgages and food and so forth? Who pays for what? In retirement, I'm just curious. In retirement, are y'all going 50-50, 70-30, 60-40, 20? What are you doing? I want to know. All right, let's go. All right. If the rental income from these properties was going into a joint account, you probably had considerable cash at your disposal. I suspect that your reluctance to access that money ultimately led you to Social Security at 62. Sometimes strings are invisible. And if you felt forced or coerced into retirement, you could have felt that you were living under your husband's rules. Accessing those benefits gave you independence, even if it did so at a price. If this is the case, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you did not feel you had the same right to community property as your husband. I'm sorry you lived a modest lifestyle because your husband maintained a tight or controlling hold on the purse strings. And most of all, I'm sorry that this has chipped away at your self confidence and happiness over the years and affected how you feel, both your marriage and your place in the world. Now I want to pause here. So far, I read two articles, and I don't think this is the same Quentin that we knew before. I think this is somebody else that's writing, and I don't like it because Quentin was messy. This one seems caring and loving. I want messy Q. This ain't messy Q. That's what I'm feeling. You all let me know. This ain't the same Quentin we know. This one has a heart. The other one didn't have a heart. That said, you made a decision, and hopefully, it has given you the freedom and the power to make decisions leading you to the place you are now. If taking Social Security at 62, even if that meant getting lower payments, has helped you discover that what you want at 65, want you to rest for the rest of your life, it was worth it. Only you decide. Only you can decide. But financial control is a form of domestic abuse, and if you raised your kids and were a stay-at-home mom, it's all more egregious. To answer your financial and legal questions monthly, no, you're not entitled to your share of of your husband's inheritance in the event of your divorce unless the money went into a joint bank account and the funds were commingled. And rental income from separate property, that is properties that your husband purchased prior to your marriage, does not commingle those properties. The money in your joint account belongs to you both. So talk to an attorney. And then he talk about claiming at 62, blah 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 blah. And that was it. See, this ain't the same Quentin. This is he wasn't messy. This ain't the same Quentin. We've been duped. I'm feeling like it's giving me I've been duped. I read that one. All right, fellas, this is for you. All right, I feel like a fool. I loaned my friend and former lover $50,000 to help buy her home. Now she's treating it as a gift. You gave her $50,000 to help buy her home. She's a former lover and friend. I mean, do you want your money back? I'm just asking. She a friend? Do she need to get that money back? Y'all straight like that? I'm asking for a friend. No? Okay. Why he gotta have a picture up here? Why you gotta have a picture up here like that? All right, let's go. I had a fling with a very nice woman about 2 years ago, and we became friends. She was not interested in a relationship with me, which was disappointing at the time. And even though I loved her and wanted her to love me back, I respected her decision. A few years ago, she took advantage of of the low interest rates and bought an apartment with a 3.5% 30-year rate. I gradually put $50,000 into her account so she would have that cash cushion ahead of her interview with the co-op board. They accepted her and she moved in. The problem, she has continued as if the money was a gift. I have brought it up to the fact that I would like for her to repay the money as agreed at the time, and she said she's doing her best. But the more time that goes by, the more I've come to realize she has no intention of ever paying me back. In worst case scenario, the loan would need to be written off as a bad debt, assuming that happens. How do I account for that on my taxes? I feel like she has no intention on paying me back, although knowing her, that's hard to believe. In the meantime, how can I persuade her to repay me the $50,000? Fool for love and money. This for you fellas. At this moment in time, having a bank balance of $50,000 richer makes life easier for her. In some ways, it's not personal, which makes the whole affair even more difficult to process. The first rule of loaning money to friends is don't do it. The second is if you do, don't loan what you can't afford to lose. Third, the relationship will rarely, if ever, be the same. And the golden rule for you, you made a decision to lend this woman money because you wanted something from her approval, respect, love, and attention. You were and or are in love with her, and she exploited it that exploited that to get what she wanted. The co-op board and lender are trying to ascertain that the person is financially stable. For that reason, you were helping her, in theory, committed fraud with this phony money. Now, this sounds like Quentin. You see the difference? It sounds like our Quentin, right? If the building board saw a sudden $50,000 pot, they would have wanted you to sign a document testifying that it was indeed a gift rather than a loan. And many banks won't allow such a gift unless it comes from a family member. In some rare cases, for instance, a fiance could qualify as a family member. Before you loan money to a friend, know this. Whether you lend $5 or $50,000, assume you're never getting it back. About 2/3 of the people who borrow money say it was never returned, according to the survey of 3,000 adults released in Coupons Code Pro. They owed a average of $522, which puts your generosity and perhaps naivety into perspective. Ex-partners are among those tapped for money most often. What's most alarming about the particular study, 60% of those said they borrow money a couple of times a year, and 27% said they hit friends and family up for money most months. Again, it's proximity problem. And the IRS, we know about the IRS, proving to the IRS it's not a gift. People who have bad debts are generally only able to write off part of the loan that was documented in a loan agreement. So if he didn't put nothing up in writing and he just made trinkets, droppets in there, it's over. Ain't nothing nobody can do. Let's see. Yeah, you would need to get this written statement from the third party to acknowledge the bad debt, so you could at least show proof, a check or receipt will also help. This is more complicated and require more advice from financial planner or attorney. The IRS typically considers gifts to immediate family members as gifts rather than loans, and you must show that your loan to your friend wasn't a gift. That's it. There's no expectation that it will go unpaid, and stipulate your relationship to the third party. But a write-off of $3,000 is a drop in the ocean compared to $50,000 you loaned this woman. She won't pay it back if there's no reason to do so. Like I said, and like I told this man who had $100,000, he gave a contractor for materials, furniture, and appliances, and the contractor broke down in tears because he suddenly had a change of heart because he believed he was going to be publicly exposed. If he had qualms about stealing money from one of his clients and was unable to go about his day-to-day life after spending his 100,000, he would not have done it in the first place. And just go down here. Yep, that was it for that. You say he got played. Hey man, it happens to the best of us. All right, let me look one more. Let's see, we're coming up. We made our hour. Got one more. Got one more and we out. Well, I probably got two more. All right. I think I read this one. He's taunting me. I loaned my son $30,000 to buy a house in 2012. I need it back. He says the 5-year window for repayment has closed. What can I do? All right. I loaned my son $30,000 to buy a home in 2012. It was a good time to buy, and his house, which he bought for 135,000, is now worth 270. It was a good buy, and he can also extend in time and add to the value. I made it clear at the time that it was a loan, and he doesn't dispute that. He said that it's unfair to ask for repayment 10 years later, and said I should have given him more notice, and that his freelance business has dried up in the last 5 years. He also told me the 5-year window has closed. Now you gotta be some type of man or some type of child to want to dupe your own mama out of money. Right? What does that mean? A 5-year window? I wasn't aware there was a statute of limitations on a loan to a family member. He laughed with a smile, dripping in sarcasm. We've mostly gotten along, but he has always had a short fuse and believes that his next door neighbor, best friend, and ex girlfriend had done him wrong. He goes from 0 to 60 with the service staff, the waitresses, the baristas. I have a stepdaughter from a second marriage. Uh, Her father, my husband, died in his 50s of a heart attack. And while while this may be a terrible thing to say, I feel closer to her than I do my own son. He's 42 and she'll honor his debt. It's almost like he's taunting me. He has been to see me twice in the last 6 months and calls me once in a blue moon. My stepdaughter lives close and helps me with my computer issues and has built up a relationship. I love my house, but it needs upgrading. If I didn't have my dog and my stepdaughter, I would be very lonely. My house is worth about 320,000. There's $40,000 left in the mortgage. I feel like I was tricked into lending him money. It hurts because I did everything for him when he was growing up. Maybe that was a mistake. What can I do? I don't have a lot of savings. I live off a modest pension and Social Security. All right. Your son is a foolish man. He's not only risking the love, or at the very least respect of the person who brought him into the world. He's also alienating the one person who will most likely stand by him while all ex-partners, friends, clients, and business partners fall by the wayside. If everybody else is the problem, is the problem, he's the problem. So I want to say this right here. There are a lot of stories out here about children and parents where the children are really waiting for the parents to die so they can inherit whatever house or money that they have. They care nothing about them. And there's a lot of stories out there. I just don't talk about them because I'm like, it's kind of depressing that you're waiting for your parent to die, or your parents to die so you can collect either insurance, or you could collect either money from whatever accounts that they have. There are a lot of these stories out there, and you can see some of them on YouTube as well too. My add this. It's a tangent, just a different tangent. Have y'all been seeing these stories about people going into these caves and getting stuck? I'm just gonna say it. The white people going into the caves and getting stuck. Have y'all seen that? Okay, so they go into these. It's a challenge. They go into the cracks, these little cave cracks. Well, anyway, one guy, it's a tangent, went into a cave. You seen that? He went into a cave and he went down head first and got stuck into a cave. I have to I'll find it and do it next week. I was gonna do it tonight. But they go into these caves and they keep getting stuck in these caves, so they end up having to call for help. And and when I say these caves are small, they small. Well, anyway, he got stuck in the cave, and the way he got stuck, his head was like bent, like it was like this, like he was in the cave, like head first and bent, and so whatever. Anyway, they had to break his ribs. They had to break one of his legs, and then I think had to do something with his neck in order to pull him out of the cave. Have y'all seen that? Oh, that was in Utah. Mm. Cave exploring gone wrong. Is it the Nutty Putty Cave incident? Is that it? Well, it's not that one. This one right here looked like it's 2000. Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, yeah. He ended up choking to death. This was one of my foolish finance Fridays. Anyway, let me see if I can get to the thing where they show where he went in the cave and how he got stuck down in there. Let me see if they got a picture. How he was in this cave. I'm like, why would you do that? Okay. It's no sound. I just want to show what it looks like with him stuck in this cave. Yeah, he was upside down. He choked to death. And they were saying because he was upside down, the blood was rushing to his head too. Pooling. I'm trying to see if they got like where. Okay, right there. Okay, that's what it looked like right there. He was in the cave like that. Let me hold on, let me move myself. He was in the cave upside down like that and got stuck. One second. They had other people call for help. He didn't call for nothing. Can you imagine being stuck like this for hours? They had to break him. They couldn't get him out. He's stuck. He can't breathe. This is it. What y'all do? This is foolish to me. this is this is foolish. This is absolutely foolish. Why would you do this? Anyway, let's go back to my guy. Where were we at? All right. That was my sidebar. All right. So when you say your son tricked you into giving money, my understanding is that you thought you were giving him a loan, as many parents do, to help their children. If you suspect someone is someone of actual elder abuse, emotional, physical, psychological, or financial, you should report them to the adult protective services or 911 and report them to local law enforcement and so forth. He's not only risking his own inheritance for $30,000, but he's missing out on investing quality time with you. All the things in life that give people status, a nice house, a high profile job, membership at a local golf club, or a fast car, money in the bank. The only true thing that gives us status is the quality of our relationship and the kindness we show to others. I have 5 suggestions. Take it out of his inheritance. Leave your estate to a rescue home for dogs, or leave it to that young lady. Divide your estate between your stepdaughter and the home for rescue dogs. Divide your estate between your stepdaughter, the home for rescue dogs, and your son, but make it clear that in your will that you will be deducting $30,000 plus interest. That what gets that that's what he gets for not meeting his obligation to repay. Leave your estate to your son and deduct $30,000 plus interest. At this point, I'm leaning towards option 3. Divide your estate between your daughter and the rescue home for dogs. That's what they said. That's what that man said. Again, these are the foolish things that I find on the internet that I think are funny. You all got to get out here. If you don't know anything about this show, it's protect your assets. If you don't take nothing from here, protect your assets. Do not let this be the last time someone else sees you and you haven't protect your assets. You said, my thoughts are, if he needed a loan, how did the parent expect the knucklehead to pay it back? Well, I think over time she was expecting a payback, right? Even if it was $100 a month. Even if it was $100 a month, right? Anybody will take any effort. Like, listen, anybody will take any effort than no effort. Any effort versus no effort. I'm telling you. All right, y'all. It's been real. I hope y'all had fun. Hope you enjoyed. I catch y'all tomorrow morning. Tech stocks and jobs. Enjoy your night.